On September 18th, Australia's national broadcaster reported that one of the 14 foreign judges on Hong Kong's highest court has resigned due to concerns over a sweeping new national security law imposed by Beijing on the city. The office of the city's leader, Carrie Lam, confirmed the resignation of Australian Judge James Spigelman, but did not give a reason. Spigelman, the former Chief Justice of New South Wales, is the first senior judge to resign and publicly cite the law passed by the Chinese regime's rubber-stamped legislature on June 30th without any Hong Kong legislative process or consultation. The Polish-born jurist told the ABC that he had resigned for reasons related to the content of the national security legislation, but did not elaborate further. Spigelman did not immediately respond to a request from Reuters for comment. Local and international legal circles have been alarmed at Beijing's imposition of the security law, fearing it erodes the former British colony's autonomy and freedoms. Under the security legislation, Lam has the right to select judges for a panel of jurists to handle national security cases. In the most serious cases, suspects can also be taken to mainland China for trial in its courts, which are ultimately controlled by the Communist Party. It also grants extensive powers to personnel from mainland China's security apparatus, who are now based in the city for the first time under the law. Lam's office responded in an email to queries about his departure. Mr. Justice Spigelman tendered to the chief executive on September 2nd his resignation as a non-permanent judge of the Court of Final Appeal. Therefore, the chief executive revoked his appointment in accordance with the relevant legislation. Last year, Spigelman had been reappointed to another 3-year term. Foreign judges have long been a symbol of the city's rule of law, helping to replace the role of the Privy Council in London after Britain handed the city back to Chinese rule in 1997. Hong Kong's mini-constitution, known as the Basic Law, enshrines the independence of the judiciary and states that judges may come from other common law jurisdictions. But in recent weeks, Lam and her officials have stressed that the city had no separation of powers and that the powers of its executive, legislature, and judiciary all derived from Beijing. Even before new laws were enacted, senior judges had told Reuters the independence of Hong Kong's judicial system was under assault from the Communist Party leadership in Beijing. On September 18th, Simon Young, a professor at the University of Hong Kong Law School and a barrister, urged the government to name the judges cleared for national security work to stop possible speculation that foreign jurists were not welcome. He said, "The ball is clearly now in the government's court to assure the public it still supports the system of foreign judges on Hong Kong's apex court." Senior barristers said they believed other senior judges were now considering their futures. In July, the president of the UK Supreme Court said it was in discussions with the British government to assess the future of UK judges on Hong Kong's top court. Robert Reid, who also serves on the Hong Kong court, said the new law contains a number of provisions which give rise to concerns.
A member of the Chinese Communist Party on a tourist visa was denied entry at customs and got deported after arriving at a U.S. airport. When applying to immigrate to the U.S., he was asked if he was a member of the party. The Global Service Center for Quitting Chinese Communist Party has pointed out that the CCP will soon be dissolved, and those who have joined the CCP and its affiliated organizations should quit as soon as possible to avoid being held accountable for its crimes. Los Angeles legal scholar Zheng Kunju posted on Twitter on September 17th, "The father of a Chinese-American citizen was rejected by the U.S. consulate when he applied for immigration to the United States because he was a member of the Communist Party of China. He was refused entry by the U.S. Customs when trying to enter the United States at Detroit Airport on a tourist visa. His visa was canceled and he was deported. The American citizen told Zheng Kunju that her father had been told by the U.S. Customs that he does not meet the entry requirements."
She said that they had applied for his green card and already had interviews in Guangzhou. "We are waiting for the results. I asked her if her father had any problems related to immigration or entry. She said when the Guangzhou consulate official asked him if he was a party member, he said yes. This lady did not know the result of her father's immigration application at that time." Under Zheng Cunju's suggestion, she went to the USCIS website to check and found out that the immigration application had been rejected. It was rejected because he is a party member. The United States actually considers the Communist Party to be equivalent to a fascist or terrorist organization. It is believed that such an organization has been undermining the U.S. Constitution. The U.S. Constitution protects democracy and the rule of law, but communism advocates for a violent overthrow of the existing system.
The values and ideology held by the CCP members pose a threat to the national security of the United States. As a party member, he, first of all, supports the CCP and regards the West as a hostile force. Its goal is to realize so-called communism throughout the world, which means that the United States is a hostile force, and its ultimate goal is to get it eliminated.
Jen Kunju suggested that the lady's father should first go through the procedures of quitting the CCP and obtaining a certificate and then apply for immigration again. In July of this year, the media reported that the U.S. State Department plans to completely ban Communist Party members and their families from immigration and entry into the United States. Party members may also face visa revocations and be deported. This news caused a shock in Chinese society. Outsiders believe that this deportation case shows that the United States is really putting action on this matter, which is a big wake-up call for communists.
It will make Chinese people, especially those in mainland China, think in depth this time. More Chinese people, especially those who are psychologically disgusted by the CCP, but have to compromise on the surface, are likely to find ways to quit the CCP.
Yi Rong, head of the Global Service Center for Quitting the CCP, said that the CCP is a demonic sect and a national terrorist group. Its trial and disintegration will soon come. If anyone who has ever joined the CCP organization refuses to withdraw, he or she is a member of it and will be held accountable. Quitting the party is like a lifeboat. Only by declaring to withdraw from the party and its affiliated organizations can you draw a clear line with the evil CCP. Time is pressing and opportunities are not to be missed.
The current encirclement and suppression of communism by the whole world is actually a great celestial change. It's what Falun Gong practitioners have been talking about for so many years. Heaven will destroy the CCP. If it is the time that the CCP is to be destroyed in the event of a catastrophe, those who do not quit the CCP will become grave offerings for the most evil group of the Communist Party.
The publication of the 9 commentaries on the Communist Party in 2004 promoted a global wave of quitting the CCP. Up to now, more than 360 million people have announced their withdrawal from the Chinese Communist Party and its affiliated organizations on the Global Service website. The certificate of quitting the party issued by the Global Service Center for Quitting the CCP can be used as authoritative proof of quitting the party to be submitted to the U.S. government.
The U.S. Department of Commerce officially announced that transactions of provisions of service to distribute or maintain WeChat or TikTok through online mobile application stores in the U.S. will be banned. Services through the WeChat mobile application for transferring funds or processing payments within the U.S. will also be banned. Nevertheless, a U.S. company, Oracle Corporation, is still negotiating a TikTok deal with ByteDance. President Trump indicated that a decision will be announced soon, but that U.S. security will not be compromised and the data will be ensured to be safe. In a press release, the Secretary of the Department of Commerce, Wilbur Ross, said that the actions of prohibitions on transactions relating to mobile applications WeChat and TikTok is in response to President Trump's executive orders signed August 6, 2020, to safeguard the national security of the United States. The press release read, "The Chinese Communist Party has demonstrated the means and motives to use these apps to threaten the national security, foreign policy, and the economy of the U.S." The Department of Commerce indicated that while the threats posed by WeChat and TikTok are not identical, they are similar. Each collects vast swaths of data from users, including network activity, location data, and browsing and search histories. Each is an active participant in China's civil-military fusion and is subject to mandatory cooperation with the intelligence services of the CCP. This combination results in the use of WeChat and TikTok creating unacceptable risks to our national security. Today's announced prohibitions, when combined, protect users in the U.S. by eliminating access to these applications and significantly reducing their functionality. As of September 20th, 2020, the following transactions are prohibited. 1. Any provision of service to distribute or maintain the WeChat or TikTok mobile applications, constituent code, or application updates through an online mobile application store in the U.S. 2. Any provision of services through the WeChat mobile application for the purpose of transferring funds or processing payments within the U.S. The Department of Commerce also banned WeChat and TikTok operations in the U.S., with certain prohibitions coming into effect on September 22, 2020 for WeChat and on November 12, 2020 for TikTok. The following transactions are prohibited. 1. Any provision of internet hosting services enabling the functioning or optimization of the mobile application in the U.S. 2. Any provision of content delivery network services enabling the functioning or optimization of the mobile application in the U.S. 3. Any provision directly contracted or arranged internet transit or peering services enabling the function or optimization of the mobile application within the U.S. 4. Any utilization of the mobile application's constituent code, functions, or services in the functioning of software or services developed and or accessible within the U.S. Because Oracle Corporation is still negotiating with ByteDance over the TikTok deal, TikTok users will not be banned from conducting any technical transactions on TikTok before November 12, 2020. This allows the corporation to have time to continue negotiating and see if they can arrive at a conclusion.
I think it could go quickly. We have great companies talking to us about it. You know about Oracle. You know Microsoft has been involved, and let's see whether or not they're continuing to be involved. Walmart is truly a great company. They're very much involved. They want to do something. So we have some great options, and maybe we can keep a lot of people happy, but have the security that we need. We have to have the total security from China. We're not going to do anything to jeopardize security.
The Department of Commerce indicated that the prohibitions in the order may be lifted by President Trump if the national security concerns posed by TikTok are resolved before November 12th.
The wife of a prominent human rights lawyer was abducted by Chinese police on her way to attend an event at the U.S. Embassy in Beijing. The diplomats at the U.S. Embassy invited several family members of persecuted human rights lawyers to commemorate Constitution Day with them on September 17th, the anniversary of the United States' adoption of its Constitution. Among them was Wang Qiaoling, wife of lawyer Li Heping. Li was among hundreds of human rights lawyers and activists who were arrested by the Chinese regime in a nationwide crackdown on July 9, 2015. It is often referred to as the 709 incident, and the lawyers arrested are known as 709 lawyers. Li was sentenced to prison for inciting subversion of state power, a catch-all charge Beijing often uses against dissidents. He was released in May 2017, but Wang said at the time that Li looked emaciated and was barely recognizable. Li was known for defending political dissidents and vulnerable groups in China, including underground Christians, victims of forced evictions, as well as practitioners of the persecuted Falun Gong spiritual practice. While Wang was on the way to the embassy event, she disappeared after entering the subway, and her friends, other attendees of the event, could not get a hold of her. Earlier that day, Wang told one of her friends that 4 plainclothes police were following her husband. The day before, local police warned Li and Wang not to go to the U.S. Embassy event. At about 10:24 p.m. local time on September 17th, one of Wang's friends finally received a text message from her saying while she was walking out of the Dongfen Beiqiao subway station at 5:19 p.m., she was stopped by 2 plainclothes police. They tried to grab her cell phone. She struggled and tried to call a friend with her phone, but the 2 big men pinned her down to the ground and snatched her phone. Then, 5 or 6 people came out of 3 police cars, pushed her into one of them, and drove to a community near her home. The police dropped her off there. After returning home, she felt pain in her arms and shoulders from being dragged by the police. Xu Yan, wife of Yu Wensheng, another 709 lawyer who is still in prison, was invited to attend the Constitution Day event as well. She expressed on social media that she was honored to participate and to take a photo with the ambassador to China, Terry Branstad, and his wife. At the event, Xu urged Branstad to help rescue her husband. Yu was sentenced to 4 years in prison in June 2020 for inciting subversion of state power. He has been kept incommunicado with his family and appointed lawyer. In her social media post, Xu Yan expressed her gratitude toward the ambassador for listening to us with concern about the case of attorney Yu Wensheng and the cases of other human rights defenders. Xu also revealed that she was stopped by more than a dozen people, including security guards in her residential complex, when she tried to attend a U.S. Embassy event last year.